Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for the week. This is for the middle of November 2025. You have this rat, it says shrewd choices, reproduction, and agility. You have this prairie dog, it says cheerfulness, industry, and gracious. And I think you are going to be very industrious over the next many months, actually years. And so you're entering into a busy time, and you could be like a little prairie dog right now, just like working and I don't know, doing what prairie dogs do, popping up out of holes and stuff like that, right? And it's going to be a good time for you. You have an amazing opportunity to make money right now, Aries, as well. So starting now. And, the thing I would say is I would pick, it's pretty simple. I've said it to you a million times. I would pick something to improve or level up in work or business or career or however you make your money. And I would just level it up. That could be through learning, that could be through, self-education, putting yourself out there more, whatever. For your first card in the Celtic Cross is how you enter into the reading, and you have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it to put the work into what you're working on now, or could things be better? You have the Nine of Pentacles right next to it, so I would say that there could be an improvement, or there could be great opportunities to get more for the money, right? More for whatever it is that you're doing so that you can be more successful. Again, he's analyzing what he's already done, and he's thinking, should I grow this again, or is there something new and better that I can grow? And obviously there's something new and better that you could be growing. It could be the same thing, but your approach can change. It's like the way that you accomplish your goals or achieve whatever you're trying to achieve can, improve in some way, or can be better or different in some way. And, that's really what I would be focusing on, is those improvements. You have the Temperance card as your crossing energy. The crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. My thing with the Temperance card, especially right now with the astrology we have, is that he's trying to be too perfect. He's trying to turn water into wine here, but this right here is the path to glory, and there's a crown for you to claim right here, Aries. And sometimes I feel like he just needs to go get the crown. There's nothing for him to do. He doesn't have to perfect his situation. He doesn't have to make things better or any of that. He can just easily go get that crown and find success. Normally Temperance is a card of patience, but I kind of feel like you've been too patient, waiting to make a change, or waiting to work on something you should be working on. And I feel it's time to go claim that crown here, Aries. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So you're literally thinking about changing your fortunes with the Wheel of Fortune, which is good. Having the Wheel of Fortune in this part of your reading is very positive, because it says you are thinking about the changes that you need to make. The Wheel of Fortune, kind of what's popping into my head for you is that there could be some sort of fear that is blocking your success at the moment. I don't think it's blocking your success. I just think that if you would face the fear, that you would get to the other side much faster. The Wheel of Fortune is a portal card. These circle cards are portals. We have this snake right here. Snakes are guardians of portals, and snakes represent fears. So usually there are things in life that we don't have that we want, and usually it's because we are afraid to do something to get it, whatever it is. It's like maybe we're afraid of making more money, which, believe it or not, is a fear. That's why a lot of people don't have money, is because they're afraid of what will happen if they make more. They're afraid of having to pay taxes, or having to do this, that, or the other thing. So these aren't real fears. These are more those internal fears, those blockages that are preventing you from moving forward. And it could also just simply be the fear of the unknown as well. It's you probably know what you have to do to take something to the next level, but it could be the fear of the unknown. The other thing that I'm getting here for you, Aries, is, especially if you already are successful, it's I think the problem with success really is that you become successful, and then if you want to start something new, it's you're going back down, right? It's you have to, it almost feels like you are starting from scratch when really you're not. But it's if you already have a certain level of success, it can be hard to start something new, because it's you're starting from zero, basically. And I feel like the Wheel of Fortune is saying, not only will you be successful much faster than the first time you built something, but, it'll be worth it, and it will change your fortunes. Next, in the area of your foundation, you show up here, which is amazing. Whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength. Showing up in the area of the foundation is even stronger. It says that you have a strong foundation this month, or you're coming at things from a strong perspective and a strong position, which is going to make you more successful. I also kind of feel it's a time of opportunity for you, Aries. Again, you're going to have many opportunities over the next many years, especially with Neptune in your sign, but also the next like 2.5-ish years, maybe a little bit longer with Saturn in your sign. And, the trick for you is going to be to pick one opportunity and finish it, and then move on to the next one. Again, the secret sauce with Saturn and Aries is like one thing at a time, but you also have to finish. The key word is finish. It's going to be really easy to get started, actually, for you, especially, Saturn moves back into Aries at the end of February. And, towards the end of February. And so, like, by that time, I think that it will be very easy for you to start. But the finish part is the trick, right? And so I think that's definitely something that you should be paying attention to on a very strong level. And, in 2.5-ish years from, February, when Saturn's going to move into your second house, and, the seeds you plant now are really going to grow when it moves into your second, when Saturn, moves into your second house. So, it's going to be worth it to do that work. And I am. And I'm not even in Aries, right? Next, in the area of your past, this is the energy that you are moving past. You have this hindrance card. It says, this is good because it says fate has blocked this path. So if there have been any blockages, it's in the past position. You're moving past it. You have this hand of fate card. It says forces beyond your control intervene. Yeah, so it's like maybe if you've tried to level up or do something in the past and it didn't work, it just wasn't the right time. But now things can work better. I think this is really talking about divine timing. And I feel like it's a little bit like you're in study hall here. That's what I want to say, Aries, right there. It's like I feel, but it's more like a free period. It's like if you had senior privileges, right? I don't know if any of you had that in high school where if you had senior privileges, you could just leave, right? I did. And I did. I left, right? But what I would say here, I got the hell out of there. I tried to spend as little time as possible in school. But what I would say here is it's almost like now you are entering into this like free period where you can do whatever you want. And I would definitely take advantage of it right now, Aries, with this energy. You have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, making things happen. She has a goal. She has a sunflower right here, points towards the sun. And so there's something she wants to accomplish, but she has to like go and do it with the sunflower showing up right here. Like I said, that sunflower points towards the sun. And so she has to get up and start moving towards it. I also feel good about this, like from a relationship perspective. I'm not just talking about love. I'm talking about all relationships. I feel like you are listening to yourself more. Even in the area of your closest relationships, you have the 8 of Cups. I don't really feel like you're walking away from anyone, but I do feel like you could be, of course. But, I feel it's more like you're walking away from opinions that people have, right? And maybe you're not letting them affect you as much as they used to, or maybe you're not letting people get involved in things that you're doing that they shouldn't be getting involved in. I feel like you're learning to trust yourself. Again, this is a big theme with Neptune and Aries. Even though, Neptune moves back into Aries in January, it doesn't matter. It's already been in Aries. And so Neptune and Aries is like looking for a savior. The problem with Neptune and Aries is that I think that we want to do things in life, but we could be looking for a person to give us permission, for example. But the trick with Neptune and Aries is you have to give yourself permission, right? So if you tell someone your ideas, they're not necessarily going to be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Or, oh yeah, you should do that. It's like you have to be that person for yourself. But the good news is that this is coming up in the past. So I feel like you are becoming that person. Next, in the area of the very near future, you have this time for a nap card and this breathe card. Yeah, we still have Mercury retrograde, so, while I think this retrograde is perfectly fine for action, if you need a break, take a break. If you need a rest, take a rest. If you need to, give yourself a break, give yourself a break. All those things are going to be very important. I think that there's, again, a lot of action coming up for you, but we have to balance that energy. So you're going to need to enter into times where you're maybe taking a break so that you can kind release the energy, release the tension, all that other stuff. And I would make sure to make that, what I'm trying to spit out here is that you need to make this a practice. Like, yes, you're going to be very busy, but do you have an hour a day where you can read a book or, do something else? I would make that a thing that you do every single day, right? Whatever it is. Could be going for a walk, taking a nap, whatever. Also in the area of the very near future, you have the Nine of Pentacles, which is amazing. Nine of Pentacles is perfect independence. I don't know, every Aries I've ever met is very independent, so I don't really feel like this is a problem or anything for you, Aries, but she has created a perfect life for herself. Nine of Pentacles is about creating heaven on earth, right? And that doesn't mean life is perfect, but she does things to make life better, to make life a little bit closer to heaven on earth. So I always, I feel like I shouldn't have to explain this, but I do. Of course, life isn't perfect. Of course, we'll never truly have heaven on earth, but getting closer is a good thing, or getting as close as you can will improve your life. She's also keeping 6 pentacles for herself, and she has 3 over here that she's willing to give to any situation. These pentacles do not have to be money. This could be time, effort, attention, love, whatever. So she always keeps more for herself. And I think that is going to be a theme or something that you should pay attention to, is you need to make sure you're not over giving to any situation that you're entering into, whether it's love or business or anything, right? And so make sure you're recharging your own batteries. Next, in the area of your outcome row, you have the seduction card. It says passion, pleasure, temptation, beauty, attraction, chemistry, flirting, play, sexual intrigue, mating, dance. And then you have this marriage card. It says business partnership, joining forces, romance to the next level, connections, and coming together. So, yeah. Everybody's had a lot of love in the November, all the November readings have had a lot of love. That doesn't mean that we have love, but it does mean we could be thinking about it, which is kind of what I feel for you, Aries. It's maybe some of you have said that, written off love and have said to yourself, I'm going to be single forever. But now I feel something is changing where now you're thinking about it. Or maybe you're saying to yourself, you know what, maybe I will give it a shot. And again, that doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to find someone this month. As a matter of fact, I feel like this reading is really talking about your next few years in a lot of ways. There's a lot of stuff here that are themes for your future. And so this is definitely a theme that you could be thinking about. Next, in the area of your next few months, you have the Hangman. Yes, definitely seeing things from new perspectives. We had Uranus and Gemini. Uranus is now retrograding in Taurus, but Uranus has already entered Gemini. And then next year, it's going to move back into Gemini. And so what I would say is that Uranus and Gemini is here to shake things up. It's here to give us new perspectives. It's here to show us other ways of doing things, other ways of living, all that stuff. So I don't know. It's just very obvious energy to me. The Hangman is about enlightenment, though. And so his head is glowing on this card. And it says that, he needs to move towards enlightenment. If you get enlightened to new ways of working, loving, whatever it is you're doing, then I would move towards those new ways because they're probably going to be more successful moving forward. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Eight of Cups. Again, I was getting earlier that you are walking away from opinions. I don't really see you cutting people out. I mean, you could be, of course, you're all different. This is a general reading, but I think for the most part for you, Aries, it's more about turning your back on opinions and just not allowing them to affect you anymore. It's you're making your own decisions, you're choosing your own path, you're marching to the beat of your own drum, whatever you want to call it. And I feel all that energy is good for you for sure. The Eight of Cups is also the path to true fulfillment. These 8 cups, one cup is missing right here. And so he's walking away from those 8 cups and choosing not to settle. And he is choosing, he doesn't really know. Again, I always say he doesn't know if he's going to find fulfillment or not. Some people say he's walking towards the 9 of Cups, but he doesn't know that, right? So the 8 of Cups can be a little scary. It can be one of those cards where it asks us to cut things out, but we could also be a little bit scared because we're am I going to ever find something I want, or am I ever going to get the things I want? And I feel like the answer is yes, but you have to be brave enough to walk away from things that aren't right. And, that is part of the 9 of Pentacles. That is part of her creating heaven on earth, is she might have to cut things out that no longer serve her, or she might have to remove things that are that are preventing her from creating heaven on earth. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Page of Swords. Very curious time. I encourage everyone to follow their curiosity right now. If something is interesting to you, if something stands out to you, if you want to learn a new topic or a new skill, now is definitely the time with the Page of Swords energy. So I would be learning as much as you can, educating yourself, doing new things with your life. All that would be very good for you with the Page of Swords. You have the Three of Cups as your outcome, which is great. Three of Cups is a celebration. These three ladies here are celebrating a harvest. With the Nine of Pentacles, you absolutely could be creating a harvest. I kind of feel like some of you, I'll tell you this as well, Aries. It's like if you're thinking about working on something right now that you're going to launch in January, for example, yes is what I would say here, because, now is a really good time. I think it would be a good time for you to have something to put out into the world by January, because you'll probably have a harvest. And, this could be business-wise, but it could also be something else. Like if you're thinking about working on your health or, working on something else in your life. I don't know. I don't have any good ideas today, but, whatever it is, it could lead to a really quick harvest at the beginning of the year, which could be very beneficial. And, I would take advantage of that energy. But let's see what else wants to come up for you here, Aries. With the Seven of Pentacles and the Temperance card, you have the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is resourcefulness, and she's also a card of multiplication. You have this rat card that says reproduction on it. We have this rabbit right here. Rabbits multiply very quickly. And, rabbits kind of in the tarot, on the Queen of Pentacles, can represent multiplication. And I'm pretty sure I've said this to you before, Aries, but if there are things you do, like in work and business and love and your health, that produce a better result, then those are the things that I would focus on doing, right? You really want to be putting more of your energy into things that multiply, and that is how you're going to get to the next level. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Five of Pentacles. It's like I feel like you just want more, Aries. It's like, there's something about security here popping into my head. I don't really feel poverty or anything like that. It's coming up in the area of what's on your mind. So it's like you could be thinking about poverty. You could be thinking about losing money and things like that. But what I would say here is I feel like you're trying to, put yourself in a really good position. I don't feel bad about this card. I don't really feel good about it either, because, it's obviously you should have a more positive mindset, but, I kind of feel like you're just trying to get to that Nine of Pentacles. She is gratitude and luxury. She, has a little bit extra to spend on the side and things like that. And, I feel like if you would face that fear, that we were talking about with the Wheel of Fortune, it would really push you over that mark of the Nine of Pentacles. I think it would get you to that place. With the Emperor, you have what do you know? You have the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, the Emperor with the Wheel of Fortune would say that there are opportunities you have to take advantage of. There are things you have to do, right? There are actions you have to take. The Wheel of Fortune is also about doubling down on the good stuff, which is kind of what I said on that Queen of Pentacles. She has to double down on things that multiply. And so I would be doing more of that in whatever it is. And you also have to take care of challenges right away with the Wheel of Fortune, right? We can't ignore things that are happening. This could be anything that pops up. The quicker you take care of your challenges and the quicker you double down on the things that are working, the quicker your life will improve with the Wheel of Fortune. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Chariot. The Chariot is like a victory. It's like charging forward towards success. Pretty good card. I think you've already set yourself apart here, Aries. It's like you're, in work and business, anything else you're doing, I feel like you already are unique enough to stand out. Sometimes I feel like the Chariot is about standing out. He's kind of like doing his own thing. The Queen of Wands, she does her own thing. She marches to the beat of her own drum. She's willing to go on an adventure and learn as she goes. The Chariot is very similar. He's leaving the city behind him and everything and everyone is, follows the same rules, does all the same things in that city. He's setting himself apart to find his own place in the world where he can be unique or different or stand out. And, I've pretty much said it to everyone, but I think during Uranus and Gemini, we need to be willing to be a black sheep. We need to be willing to say what no one else is saying. We need to be willing to do things that people aren't doing. And if you do that, you'll be happy you did. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the King of Pentacles here. So we have divine counterparts. If you're looking for love, definitely could be an earth sign coming in for you. The King of Pentacles is also great for wealth building, and really that's what I feel like this reading is about. I feel like it's about you doing things to improve your finances or make more money, and I would definitely do it. The thing with the King of Pentacles is that he has to evolve how he is making money. He's only focused on like one way of doing things. He's the card of convention, which represents the way he's always been doing things. And, that is the trap that Aries has to escape, is like you've been doing things the same since like 2016, just based off your astrology. And now it's time to like upgrade, up level, all those words. And if you do that, you will make more money probably. With the Hangman, you have the King of Wands, which is you showing up here in the reading probably. So whenever you show up as yourself, again, puts you in a position of power and strength. The King of Wands has the gift of foresight, and again, I would really be trusting those ideas, those like random, futuristic, innovative ideas that you're having, especially with the Hangman. He's seeing things from an innovative position. He's looking at things from upside down. He is looking for unique ways to work or to fix his health or whatever he's trying to do. And so those innovative ideas are the things that you should be doubling down on with this card. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Three of Cups again. Yeah, very good for friends, people. Three of Cups, I always say, is concentrated connections because there's only 3 people on the card and you have it twice. So this is coming up in the area of your closest relationships. And if you're, this doesn't have to be love. This could be any type of relationship in your life. And the more you focus on those concentrated connections, those people who really lift you up, those people who really support you, the better. With the Page of Swords, you have the King of Swords. Yes, King of Swords is knowledge and wisdom. And so the more you learn with the Page of Swords, the more knowledge and wisdom you will be able to gain, right? And I think that's going to be very important for you. It seems to me like you're entering into like a time of learning new things or kind of like doing something new, especially in work or business. But again, could be anything that you're working on here. And the King of Swords, the key word is wisdom, which is the act of taking the things you know and putting them into practice, right? You can't just learn something and that's it. You have to learn and then do. And if you learn and then do, that is where your success will come from with the King of Swords. You could also be, for those of you that want love, by the way, we have the King of Wands, Queen of Wands, King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. So we have 2 divine counterparts here. I feel like this is one person. One thing I will say is King and Queen of Pentacles can be a little bit boring, but so it's good that you also have the King of Wands and Queen of Wands. King and Queen of Pentacles, they want to work on a connection. They want to see something be successful. King and Queen of Wands is that, a little bit more that spiciness that a relationship needs. So that's good. But the King of Swords, could be like an older person that you're attracting. With the Three of Cups, you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, it's like being playful with life is what's popping into my head. Three of Cups is a very happy, celebratory card, right? And the Page of Wands, he is very happy-go-lucky. He's just happy to be alive. He follows his enthusiasm. He's willing to just do things because they're fun. And he doesn't, I think the trick with the Page of Wands always is practicing non-attachment. He doesn't need something to work, which is scary, right, Aries? So he doesn't care if he like starts an adventure or a project or a relationship or whatever. He doesn't like need that relationship to work a certain way. He just says, I'm just going to enjoy this for what it is. You have this tent card. It says temporary situation. So yes, if you are dealing with anything right now, it is temporary. Mercury retrograde tends to bring up temporary situations. So, again, this could just be more retrograde energy. You have this crib. It says birth or conception of a child or an enterprise. Yes, definitely birthing something new. I think you are being reborn here, Aries. I think you are changing in a lot of ways. I think it's like you're taking more risks. I think you're in a good way. It's like you're not playing it so safe anymore. And, this is going to be a good thing for you. You have this cat. It says a two-faced friend. Yeah, during Mercury retrograde, of course, I would definitely be careful of anyone who is two-faced, who is talking behind your back or anything like that. You have this angel. It says spiritual guidance, protection from harm. Yeah, a very spiritual time. Again, Neptune and Pisces is very spiritual, so and I've told other people as well, Mercury retrograde, it's a great time to, talk to your higher self, meditate, go for a walk, take a shower, do something, whatever it is for you. We all have different things that allow us to tap into the energy, and whatever that is, I would do it. And finally, you have this wealth card. The whole entire reading is talking about wealth here, Aries. So you definitely could be building a lot of wealth or building a lot of success, which is great here, Aries. So looks amazing. Thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your week.